Good day, today is Monday the 30th of March 2020. This video is about a report, an annual report presented by the United States Federal Reserve, indicating underlying weakness in the economy, specifically as it relates to households as opposed to businesses and so forth. We need to remember that the US stock exchange is not the US economy. The stock exchange in the United States is manipulated and does not represent underlying problems within the economy itself. The manipulation happens as a result of liquidity that has been injected into the market, specifically after the crisis of 2008-2009, and is also substantially manipulated by share buybacks and so forth. This is going to be one of a series of videos that is going to be looking at the underlying problems within the US economy, and how that is going to impact in the future on the New York Stock Exchange, on the US Stock Exchange. We hope that you find the information useful. I'm sure you, like I have seen numerous mainstream videos and YouTube videos where presenters state that X percentage of United States citizens cannot afford a surprise expense of $400. Yet, I haven't been able to see anyone say that this is where the source of the information is. Today, you're going to find the source of that information. The information comes from the Federal Reserve itself, from the horse's mouth. That's it. So next time you hear it and somebody says so many percentage of people cannot afford a surprise expense of $400, that information came from the Federal Reserve. What's going to follow now are going to be 3 slides where you can actually look at the information that the Federal Reserve presented in their annual report. For those people on small devices, I'm going to be reading the text because it might be difficult for you to actually see the text yourself. If you have a 60-inch smart TV, you're going to see the text quite easily, so my apologies for that. Reading the text is specifically for people on small devices so that while they're driving or while they're doing whatever it is that they're doing, they can actually listen to what the Federal Reserve had to say in its annual report. I hope you find the report interesting, and I hope you find future videos regarding underlying weakness within the US economy interesting. And if you want to have a look at my share buyback videos that I've previously done, one video was about share buybacks per year over the last 10 years, total share buyback amount, and another video was on which companies have spent what on their own share buybacks. That particular video talks about 73 companies that have spent over $20 billion buying back their own shares. I hope you find that interesting if you'd like to actually research that. Stick around with me, please. Let's have a look at the next 3 slides about what the Federal Reserve had to say about specifically households as opposed to businesses, and we'll take it from there. I hope you find it interesting. Thank you. This is the report on the economic well-being of US households in 2018 to May 2019. Executive summary. Text in red is mine, black text is from the original site. The text has been structurally edited to ensure that readability is enhanced, and I've highlighted certain areas that I'm focusing on. This report describes the responses to the 6th Annual Survey of Household Economics and Decision-Making, SHED. The goal of the survey is to share the wide range of financial challenges and opportunities facing individuals and households in the United States. For many, the findings are positive. However, areas of distress and fragility remain. The survey also reveals how households view their own financial lives and the many decisions they face from education to retirement. The key theme in this year's report is exploring the sources and effects of financial fragility across several domains, from employment to banking to managing expenses. Results from the survey show that many adults are financially vulnerable and would have difficulty handling an emergency expense as small as $400. My text, this has not changed since the survey done in 2015. In addition, volatile income and low savings can turn common experiences such as waiting a few days for a bank deposit to be available into a problem for some. At the same time, there is evidence of coping strategies such as supplementing income through gig work and seeking financial support from family members. The survey continues to use subjective measures and self-assessments to supplement and enhance objective measures. One example is trying to understand how close the economy is to full employment. In addition to asking adults whether they are working, the survey asks if they want to work more and what impediments they see to them working. Health limitations, a lack of available work, and family obligations are often cited as reasons for not being fully employed. Overall economic well-being. Subheading Income. Changes in family income from month to month remain a source of financial strain for some individuals. Financial support from family or friends to make ends meet is also common, particularly among young adults. 3 in 10 adults have family income that varies from month to month. 1 in 10 adults have struggled to pay their bills because of monthly changes in income. Those with less access to credit are much more likely to report financial hardships due to income volatility. 1 in 10 adults and over 1/4 of young adults under the age of 30 receive some form of financial support from someone living outside their home. This financial support is mainly between parents and adult children and is often to help with general expenses. Subheading Employment. Most adults are working as much as they want to, an indicator of full employment. However, some remain unemployed or underemployed. Economic well-being is lower for those wanting to work more, those with unpredictable work schedules, and those who rely on gig activities as a main source of income. 1 in 10 are not working and want to work, though many are not actively looking for work. My text, no matter which way you look at it, this means 10% unemployment. Back to the text. 4% of adults in the SHED are not working. My text, add another 4%, and that is 14% considering the previous 10% regarding unemployment. Back to the original text. Want to work and applied for a job in the prior 12 months, similar to the official unemployment rate of 3.8% in the fourth quarter of 2018. Just by the by, US B.L.S. unemployment figures for February 2020 are 3.5%. Back to the text. 2 in 10 adults are working but say they want to work more. Blacks, Hispanics, and those with less education are less likely to be satisfied with how much they are working. My text, partly employed persons, as per my unemployment commentary that I will make in a future unemployment video. Back to the original text. Half of all employees received a raise or promotion in the prior year. Unpredictable work schedules are associated with financial stress for some. 1/4 of employees have a varying work schedule, including 17% whose schedule varies based on their employer's needs. 1/3 of workers who do not control their schedule are not doing okay financially, versus 1/5 of workers who set their schedule or have stable hours. 3 in 10 adults engaged in at least one gig activity in the prior month, with a median time spent on gig work of 5 hours. Perhaps surprisingly, little of this activity relies on technology. 3% of all adults say that they use a website or an app to arrange gig work. Signs of financial fragility, such as difficulty handling an emergency expense, are slightly more common for those engaged in gig work, but markedly higher for those who do so as a main source of income. Dealing with unexpected expenses as a subheading. While self-reporting ability to handle unexpected expenses has improved substantially since the survey began in 2013, a sizable share of adults nonetheless say that they would have some difficulty with modest unexpected expenses. If faced with an unexpected expense of $400, 61% of adults say they would cover it with cash, savings, or a credit card paid off at the next statement, a modest improvement from the prior year. Similar to the prior year, 27% would borrow or sell something to pay for the expense, and 12% would not be able to cover the expense at all. 17% of adults are not able to pay all of their current month's bills in full. Another 12% of adults would be unable to pay their current month's bills if they were also had an unexpected $400 expense that they had to pay. 1/5 of adults had major unexpected medical bills to pay in the prior year. 1/4 of adults skipped necessary medical care in 2018 because they were unable to afford the cost. Subheading Retirement. Many adults are struggling to save for retirement. Even amongst those who have some savings, people commonly lack financial knowledge and are uncomfortable making investment decisions. 36% of non-retired adults think that their retirement savings is on track, but 1/4 have no retirement saving or pension whatsoever. Among non-retired adults over the age of 60, 45% believe that their retirement saving is on track. 6 in 10 non-retirees who hold self-directed retirement savings accounts, such as a 401k or IRA, have little or no comfort in managing their investments. On average, people answer fewer than 3 out of 5 financial literacy questions correctly, with lower scores amongst those who are less comfortable managing their retirement savings. End. It is an absolute tragedy that while Wall Street has flourished and thrived, that the American population, or a vast majority of the American population in the land of the free and the brave, are struggling to make ends meet financially. And many are struggling with regard to pensions being able to sustain an acceptable lifestyle as they go into retirement. And with the CV-19 crisis and with the substantial drop in the United States stock exchanges, the pension situation and the financial situation of American citizens being laid off and going into retirement is going to be severely aggravated. One wonders what the US government is going to do to make this right. Or is the wealth inequality gap going to widen and widen beyond any understanding?